Sunday morning, about a mile from my house, if that, over here on a project. Brandon's getting ready to put in a new quarter section of fence here. I guess that's how you say it. Is that right? Quarter section. Yeah, quarter mile, whatever. Quarter mile stretch of fence. What he's done here is, of course, he's went through here with the dozer and the hoe, pushed all these trees out. And typically this is work that I do not enjoy doing. Growing up, my dad, he had a good friend that ran a dozer, and we cut a tremendous amount of timber behind that dozer. And it's just, man, it's a lot of work cutting timber that's been pushed out. It's so much more work than cutting standing timber. It's just rough cutting. This morning I've already, like the second tree in, I already hit an old fence, pretty much ruined a chisel chain because I hit it going full tilt, and I mean really damaged some teeth on that chain there. One thing about this is what makes it better, I'm not going to say nice, but better when you're doing work like this is when the trees are kind of laid out here to where you can kind of see them and, you know, get the dirt and rock, because here in southwest Missouri our ground's full of flint rock, and whenever you uproot a tree, those flint rocks get up there in the first couple feet of that bark, and that's just trouble. So a lot of times what we'll do is we'll take a leaf blower and we'll go through there and we'll blow the debris off those trees the best we can, the rocks, the sediment. You won't get all of it, but you'll get a big portion of it, and that kind of speed things up a little bit, because if not, you're either wasting too much of the log because you're not cutting it low enough to the stump, or you're constantly sharpening your chain or ruining chains. So that's some tricks of the trade you learn over time with that stuff. Like I said, I don't enjoy cutting pushed out timber. I don't, but like this here, the gentleman that owns this property, I've known Rick all my life. His youngest son and I actually ran around a lot when we were just in high school, and there several years after. So I've cut timber on Rick before a couple times, but so I try to take care of my neighbors and my friends the best I can on this stuff. But no, I do not enjoy cutting pushed out timber, because we try to cut absolutely everything we can. We try to utilize every piece of wood we can. If we can do something with it, we try to get it out of there, because it's just less of a brush pile you've got. One of my good friends, he actually just bought a firewood processor a few weeks ago, so he's trying to get started up in that. And I'm actually some of the smaller stuff in here, stuff that we wouldn't even normally cut for pallet type material, I'm going to try to fish out and send his way, just to, it'll help him out, it'll help the landowner out as well. And of course, what you can expect on deals like this, more times than not, they're never big money deals, but what you can do, what the landowners can expect, is they can help offset some cost for the dozing work or the fencing work. Like Brandon now having the bigger dozer and equipment, Brandon builds so much fence and pipe corral, it's kind of it kind of really helps Brandon out having, you know, the dozer now, where he can do the clearing. Then today he's going to start the fence. He'll be here in probably about an hour, and they're going to start the fence. They'll have this fence knocked out. I don't know if they'll get it finished up today, but they will be pretty close, because they knock out fence pretty fast. So it helps Brandon out having that equipment to do this, and then it helps the landowners out, because here in Missouri, usually when you build a new fence, it's each landowner splits the cost of the fence. So it'll help knock off some of the price off the top of that for your fence building or your land clearing. So that's kind of what you can expect. It's the odds of you clearing out a fence row and paying for said fence and all the labor. I'm not going to say it's not possible, but it's highly unlikely. So I just refueled, and there's several trees in there. Like I said, I sent Brandon a message telling him how big of a mess this was, and he didn't do he did some dozing, but he had another kid that works for him on the hoe kind of pushing this stuff back in. And I'm not faulting either one of them. I'm not, because I was spoiled working behind Richard, who'd push the trees out for us. But for future reference, we really need to not pile stuff on top of stuff on top of stuff, because dangerous, my gosh, all that stuff is under pressure. tremendous pressure, some of it. And I mean, as soon as you start cutting it, you can see stuff snapping, breaking, and you can hear it. So it's really dangerous cutting when it's like that. I would rather cut shagbark hickory standing as I would cut timber like this. As you guys know, I don't like cutting shagbark that well. So we're gonna work our way down through here. I really don't think there's too much left that I can get to. Now later today when they get here, Brandon's bringing his skid steer over so I don't have to bring mine. We're gonna fish the logs out, and they might fire up the dozer or the hoe and try to fish some of this stuff out to where we can cut it up a little better. But for now, we're kind of at a stalemate with that. So a couple decent walnut. That one there's not too bad. I cut a little one out there. It ain't bad. A few white oak in here, chinkapin oak, some red oak, some hackberry, just a mixed species. Now I've cut a tremendous amount of timber in this area. Like I said, this is not even a mile from my house as the crow flies. You got a pretty good sized creek down here. We've cut a lot of timber off that creek, a lot of timber off that ridge over there. We've nearly cut on every farm around here at some point in time. So it's pretty much my backyard, so it's a good little Sunday project. So we'll get the saw and we'll go back to whittling away. Calvary has arrived. This is a big locust tree here that I'd like to get a log out of. See the old 200 JCB there. Just can't believe it's a track hoe. Muscling her right out of there. We'll cut a log out of that big brute. On these type of deals here, like I said, we like to try to salvage whatever we can. Brandon's packing all these logs up the top of the hill for me. We'll just bring the truck over and grab them and take them back to the yard. Helper Kyle, he's getting a few of those trees pushed out there. That way they can start the fence. Fun little Sunday project. Cat sure sounds good. He's going to shove that brush there back over in there. Which this is kind of Brandon's deal, not so much mine. So, but from what I understand, the neighboring landowner really wanted the brush shoved back in there for cover for wildlife because he owns that property just for a hunting or recreational property. So it worked out good for Brandon here, not having brush piles. It worked out good for this landowner over here. So Brandon will get all that pushed back over there. Then he's going to make a few passes on the right-of-way there. Kind of slick it all up, track it in good, make sure nothing's settling too much, which it doesn't appear to be. But everything settles over time, and he's aware of that. Everyone's aware of that. Fun fact about this job here, Rick, after I graduated high school, this was one of the first jobs of timber I ever bought. I remember making the deal on it. There was some pretty decent walnut in here. Of course, this was in direct path of the 03 tornado that hit the year I graduated high school. We bought and cut a lot of timber in the area after that, and that's where I really got my feet wet in the logging world. For full-time work, I'd been in logging all my life with Dad, but as far as day in and day out, that's kind of got thrown into that mix, and there's nothing worse than cutting storm timber. I hope I never have to see it or do it again. Hey guys, if you like what you see, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for all of our latest videos.